Yeah, Des, it's funny because we were in the press box, and when the Chiefs got down 10-0, someone in the back said, we have them right where we want them, because, of course, the Chiefs' other Super Bowl wins have both come when they were down double digits. So I think all of us in the press box kind of assumed, okay, this team is going to find their footing, they're going to rally, and they're going to be able to come back. Well, as we now know, that was very much not the case, and they were never able to find any rhythm at all. On that play we were just watching a minute ago, the pick six, remember, Patrick Mahomes was sacked on back-to-back plays right before that. So the pick six was really an icing on the cake. 6 sacks on the night tonight. Going into this game, we knew it would be up to the offensive line. Can they step up and protect against a very good Jalen Carter and the rest of the defensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles? They didn't pass that test today. And as Neil alluded to a little bit earlier in the show, look, this is an issue that we've been looking at since training camp. That was our #1 storyline heading into training camp. Who was going to start at left tackle, the rookie or the second-year incumbent who doesn't have a lot of games under his belt? Both of them didn't end up panning out due to, Kingsley being a rookie, Wanya dealing with some knee issues, and you had to play a little bit of shuffle. And tonight, that didn't work out. I think about the first half, too, just looking at the numbers. Philadelphia had more points than the Chiefs had yards, 24 and 23 in those categories, respectively. The Chiefs, 3 rushing yards and 1 first down in the entire first half. When you actually add in the penalties that the Chiefs had, they were in the net negative. So, guys, not a lot of positives to take out of the box score, the stat sheet, or even what we saw intangibly. I think you take what you can of the fact that, look, we're in Kansas City now, where getting to this stage is not just the goal, it's the expectation, right? Which is a far cry from what this franchise was just a couple of years ago. So, it's easy to kind of take those moral victories in a couple days, maybe a couple weeks from now. Right now, I think this one really stings, not just for the team, but for Chiefs Kingdom as well. But we're still in the midst of a dynasty. I heard Patrick Mahomes at the podium through my earpiece say, I didn't play as well as I needed to. I'm going to do better next time. He knows there's a next time, and this team will get back there. It'll be interesting to see how the offseason goes. There are a lot of moving pieces. Justin Reed already posted tonight that he hopes this isn't his last game in Kansas City, but he's entering free agency. It'll be an interesting couple of months here. It's certainly a sour taste in the Chiefs' mouths heading into the offseason.
Thanks.
Andy Reid at the podium, when he first came up, I thought, how did he change that quickly? Maybe that was Santa Claus in the locker room, and then he cleared it up. Nope, he had some elves help, a little bit of Christmas magic to get the job done.
Yeah, as you said, this is Andy Reid in full form right now.
Peak form.
And you can just tell right now, you can at least sense that he's enjoying this, or
yes.
enjoying the ride.
Yeah, yeah, enjoying every moment and recognizing that these are the good old days as they're happening.
Yeah, no doubt. So no matter where you watch this, at home, maybe around the Christmas tree in front of the menorah, a lot of people watching this going out to local watering holes. Well, let's get out to KCTV5's Mark Palos.
Well, it was huge to get this dominant of a victory in a game with such critical playoff implications. Then, guys, you add the context of this tied a bow on a stretch of 3 games in 11 days. Now you get a little bit of a break, 24 days minimum until you kick off in the divisional round. Good chance you rest the starters against Denver. Neil, Jared, your thoughts on how important today's performance was, not just for today, but for the remainder of the season as the Chiefs trace the unprecedented three-peat. Your 2 key, I think, checkpoints going into the postseason are playing your best football at the right time. Both of you guys touched on that. We nailed it. Then 2, which team is the healthiest? We forget this because we've had so many games in such a short amount of time. But Patrick Mahomes just had that ankle injury a little over a week ago. I think it was 8 days. Chris Jones, unable to play today because of that calf injury. Now they get time to rest, heal up, and get ready to go for the most critical stretch of the season. Guys, I want to add one more thing here. Speaking of Chris Jones, when we saw him as inactive going into the game, I was a little bit worried. The D-line lost their star anchor heading into a critical game. This defensive line stepped up, including Kansas City's own Felix Anudike-Uzomah coming up with a big sack. How impressed were you guys by the defense as a whole stepping up in Jones' absence? It's the formula of a championship team. You have your key stars and you have extremely talented guys surrounding them. Brad, a lot to talk about on this very Merry Christmas with the Chiefs win, locking in that #1 overall seed in the AFC.
Yeah, the holidays just feel a little merrier today, don't they?
I love the commitment. Hey, if you put your left sock on first last week, do it again this week, because we need everything the exact same. Not just Kansas City's eyes on this game, the entire world. We actually asked NFL former MVP quarterback Matt Ryan his perspective on just how big this moment is. Well, we can't either. Patrick Mahomes 1-4 against Josh Allen and company in the regular season. 3-0 under the playoff lights when it counts.
We like the looks of that, right? One fan told me, I wish Josh Allen the best. I think he's going to be so successful in his career, just not this year.
Not today.
This is Bracketology.
The day college basketball fans have been waiting for all year long has finally arrived. We have our first look at the men's and women's NCAA tournament brackets, with the selections being revealed just hours ago. And we have local representation in both. Welcome into KCTV5's Bracketology. I'm Marleah Campbell. Over the next 45 minutes, we will break down both tournaments, and we have a lot to get to tonight. Let's start with the top teams in this year's men's bracket. Auburn, the #1 overall seed, playing out of the South region. The other #1 seeds, Duke in the East. Big 12 champion Houston in the West. Just saw them in KC a couple days ago. And Florida in the Midwest. We'll take a closer look at the bracket in just a few minutes. We want to zoom in on the bottom of the West region here, which features both Kansas and Missouri. A huge tournament coming up in Wichita, and the Jayhawks up in Providence. We begin our coverage tonight in Columbia, Missouri, where the Tigers got quite the interesting draw today. Let's send it out to our Mark Paulos. Mark, you were at today's watch party at Mizzou Arena. What was that atmosphere like once the Tigers heard their name called?
He said he's excited to play in front of his friends and family.
It's going to be a lot of black and gold in the Wichita stands there, but there's also going to be a lot of blue because this is a Drake team with a lot of Kansas City ties. Mark, did Coach Gates talk about the matchup at all? Has he gotten a chance to look at the film yet? Speaking of hometown connections, this Drake team has a lot of talent from the Kansas City area. They have 5 players who played their high school basketball careers right here in the Metro, led by Liberty native Bennett Sturtz, who's averaging nearly 20 points a game. Over to Lawrence, where it's been a bit of a bumpy ride for the Jayhawks this season, but it ends in another trip to the big dance. Our Neil Jones is at Allen Fieldhouse now. Neil, how did Bill Self and company react to this year's draw?
I think 3 is our lucky number, right? So I have a good feeling about today. We are joining you on just a beautiful day. You could not ask for a more picturesque day here in the Big Easy. We've got the wind coming off the Mississippi River a little bit, and you're overlooking Jackson Square, of course, the iconic spot here in New Orleans. Right behind me is the St. Louis Cathedral, which tonight will actually be lit up in a special show specifically for Super Bowl week. I saw it last night. It is spectacular. We'll show you that a little bit further on later this evening. And today, really, to your point, guys, as we're getting closer to the week, is the first time I've seen just masses and masses of fans. You can tell folks book their flights kind of towards the end of the week to get in on the fun a little bit before the big game, which is coming up in 3 short days. But there's another big event tonight, and that is the NFL Honors. Fans are so excited about this one. This is the biggest stage when it comes to awards both on and off the field for the NFL. And the Chiefs have a couple of folks up for big awards. You recognize them. Of course, Andy Reid, nominated for NFL Coach of the Year. Reid has never won this award since starting with the Chiefs. He did, however, get it when he was back with, the Eagles back in 2002. Meanwhile, Travis Kelce is the Chiefs nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year. This is the biggest honor for a player's work off the field. By the way, Kelce has never won this award. And speaking of number 87, as you can imagine, with the hundreds of media members from around the world, a pretty popular topic this week is, yes, Taylor Swift. And today, Kelce was singing her praises.
What I saw on that tour last year was pretty remarkable. I mean, to see the week in, week out, traveling from one country to the next, and how excruciating it is on her body and on her mind. And it's not just her; it was her entire tour. It was the dancers, it was the band, the singers, it was everybody involved, and it was an absolute machine. And it was something I could admire watching and take a lot of notes from.
And what are the odds we see a Super Bowl proposal? Well, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving it about a 12% chance. Neil, I like those odds that Travis Kelce asked Taylor Swift to marry him after the big game. 12%. It's according to the New York Post. That means a $10 bet would turn into $75. Neil, there you go. Time to put our bets down. But the offer is only available in Canada. I should have read that first. Too bad. All right, we're in New Orleans. But we have Neil Jones with us, which is always a treat. Neil?
Local, live, KCTV5. This is KC Sports Tonight, sponsored by Kia.
You can't go anywhere around town without people talking about it.
Opening day at the K is on its way. Tonight on KC Sports Tonight, Royals broadcaster Joel Goldberg gets you filled in on everything you need to know leading up to the club's home opener.
A winner, that's all I got. I'm working super hard to get the wins every night.
I think he can do a lot of things to help a team win, i.e. what Cooper's done for Duke.
The Jayhawks may be out of the big dance, but Bill Self is hard at work. Still ahead, the high school player that has the KU head coach back in the gym today.
That was one of the best college basketball games I've coached in. It's one of the best, I think, that I've seen in the women's tournament.
This is what March is all about. Catch the instant classic in Lexington that came down to the last shot in overtime. Busy show for you late this Sunday night. Welcome into KC Sports Tonight. I'm Marleah Campbell. We begin with that unbelievable game between Kansas State and Kentucky with history on the line. Here's the last K-State team to make it to the Sweet 16 23 years ago, the 2002 team. This year's squad looking to break the drought, taking on fourth-seeded Kentucky on their home court this afternoon. Kentucky jumps out 7-0, but the nerves settle, and K-State's right back at it. The program's all-time leading scorer, Ayoka Lee, making a big impact early. Cats down 7 in the second quarter, but Serena Sundell hits the mid-range jumper. 15 first-half points for her. That'll kick off a 12-3 run to close the half, and K-State heads into the locker room up 2. Late in the game, this is where things get crazy. K-State down 5, a minute and a half to go. Kansas City, Missouri's Jalen Glenn knocks down the triple, cuts it to 2. Next trip down here, it's going to be Tamira Poindexter this time. Yes, the go-ahead 3 with 38 seconds to go. Kentucky's turn. Glenn goes under the ball screen. Georgia Amore takes advantage. Kentucky back up 2. K-State's ball. Clock winding down. Up to Sundell. Back to the basket. Move. Little fadeaway jumper. Goes. Tie ball game. K-State gets the stop on the other end. And we are going to overtime. In OT, Kentucky up 2 with a minute to go for K-State. Poindexter again hits the go-ahead triple. Kentucky, one last chance to tie it. 3.2 seconds left, sideline out of bounds. Amore, give and go backdoor, but the shot rims out, and Kansas State has done it. Back to the Sweet 16 for the first time in more than 2 decades. Talk about one for the ages. A win-or-go-home game that saw 20 lead changes ends in Kansas State's favor. The Wildcats survive and advance.